28th episode of SCC Online Weekly Rewind. I'm Bhumika Indulia and I've got for you some unmissable legal stories, right from the highlights of new budget to our new book releases. Do watch the entire episode. Top story, we have got for you the highlights from Union Budget. For the road transport, it has been proposed that the National Highways network to be expanded by 25,000 km. Rupees 20,000 crore to be mobilized for National Highways network expansion. For the railways, it has been proposed that the one station, one product concept to help local businesses and supply chains. 2,000 km of railway network to be brought under Kavach, the indigenous world-class technology and capacity augmentation. 400 new generation Vande Bharat trains to be manufactured during the next 3 years. Agriculture. Rupees 2.37 lakh crore direct payment to 1.63 crore farmers for procurement of wheat and paddy. Chemical-free natural farming to be promoted throughout the country. Initial focus is on the farmers' land in 5 km wide corridors along River Ganga. NABARD to facilitate fund with blended capital to finance startups for agriculture and rural enterprises. Kisan drones for crop assessment, digitization of land records, spraying of insecticides and nutrients. Ken Betwa project, 1400 crore outlay for implementing of the Ken Betwa link project. 9.08 lakh hectares of farmers' lands to receive irrigation benefits by Ken Betwa link project. For the MSME, Udyam, eShram, NCS and Asim portals to be interlinked. 130 lakh MSMEs provided additional credit under Emergency Credit Linked Guarantee Scheme. Rupees 2 lakh crore additional credit for micro and small enterprises to be facilitated under the Credit Guarantee Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises. Education. One class, one TV channel program of PM E-Vidya to be expanded to 200 TV channels. Virtual labs and skilling e-labs to be set up to promote critical thinking skills and simulated learning environment. High quality e-content will be developed for delivery through digital teachers. Digital University for world-class quality in universal education with personalized learning experience to be established. Health. An open platform for national digital health ecosystem to be rolled out. National Tele-Mental Health Program for quality mental health counseling and care services to be launched. A network of 23 tele-mental health centers of excellence will be set up. Har Ghar Nal Se Jal. Rupees 60,000 crore allocated to cover 3.8 crore households in 2022-23 under Har Ghar Nal Se Jal. Housing for all. Rupees 48,000 crore allocated for completion of 80 lakh houses under PM Awas Yojana. Prime Minister's Development Initiative for Northeast Region. New scheme PM Divine launched to fund infrastructure and social development projects in the Northeast. An initial allocation of Rs 1,500 crore made to enable livelihood activities for youth and women under the scheme. Banking. 100% of 1.5 lakh post offices to come on the core banking system. Scheduled commercial bank to set up 75 digital banking units in 75 districts. Telecom sector. Scheme for design-led manufacturing to be launched to build a strong ecosystem for 5G as part of the production-linked incentive scheme. Atmanirbharta in defense. 68% of the capital procurement budget are earmarked for domestic industry in the year 2022-23, up from 58% in 2021-22. Defense research and development to be opened up for industry, startups and academia with 25% of defense research and development budget. E-passports. E-passports with embedded chip and futuristic technology to be rolled out. Public capital investment. Public investment to continue to pump private investment and demand. Outlay for capital expenditure stepped up sharply by 35.4% to Rs 7.50 lakh crore in 22-23. 2023 from rupees 5.54 lakh crore in the current year. Effective capital expenditure of central government estimated at rupees 10.68 lakh crore in the year 2022 to 23, which is about 4.1% of GDP. Litigation management in cases where question of law is identical to the one pending in High Court or Supreme Court with respect to tax litigation, the filing of appeal by the department shall be deferred till such question of law is decided by the court to help in reducing repeated litigation between the taxpayers and the department. Cooperative societies. Alternative minimum tax paid by the cooperatives brought down from 18.5% to 15% in order to provide a level playing field between cooperative societies and companies. Surcharge on cooperative society reduced from 12% to 7% for those having total income of more than 1 crore and up to rupees 10 crores. Coming to the Supreme Court. In the bullet train project case where Japan International Corporation had rejected Monte Carlo's limited technical bid, the bench comprising of Justice M.R. Shah and A.S. Bopanna has reversed the Delhi High Court verdict that had set aside JICA's conscious decision and has held that when the author of a tender document, JICA, had taken a conscious decision to reject the bid, the High Court ought not to have interfered. The court observed that in foreign sovereign funded contracts like the present one, the huge sum is funded on the basis of a non-negotiated terms and conditions, and therefore the foreign developed nation who has agreed to invest funds such a huge amount is always justified in insisting for their own terms and conditions. Hence, under the contractual obligation, it was not open for the National High Speed Rail Corporation Limited and or even the Republic of India to deviate from any of the terms and conditions of the loan agreement and or the decision of JICA. The Japan International Corporation Agency has invested rupees 1 lakh crore in the bullet train project. The 3 judges bench in the present case has held that the document of partition, which provides for effectuating a division of properties in future, would be exempt from registration under Section 17 of the Registration Act. The court in the present case was deciding a case where Panchayat Dars had passed an award in the form of a resolution in relation to a family property. It had details as to how the properties had to be dealt with in the future. There was no right created in any specific item or asset of the joint family properties in any person, but the parties resolved to take certain actions in persons of family arrangement. Hence, such award was exempted from Registration Act under Section 17 of the Act. In a half a century old case relating to a will, the Supreme Court has held that the objective of Section 14 Clause 1 of the Hindu Succession Act is to create an absolute interest in case of a limited interest of the wife where such limited estate owes its origin to the law as it stood then. The objective cannot be that a Hindu male who owned a self-acquired property is unable to execute a will giving a limited estate to a wife if all other aspects including maintenance are taken care of. The court said that holding so would imply that if the wife is disinherited under the will, it would be sustainable, but if the limited estate is given, it would mature into an absolute interest, irrespective of the intent of the testator. In the case at hand, the testator had bequeathed his property to his son from his first wife and his second wife. The son was given the absolute ownership rights to the extent of his share of land and property, whereas second wife was given a limited ownership for her enjoyment during her lifetime with the only intent to take care of her maintenance by ensuring that the revenue generated from the estate would go to her alone. Coming to the High Courts. In a significant case where a transgender had approached the court seeking benefit of reservation for appointment in police department, the Andhra Pradesh High Court denied to issue directions to the state in favor of the petitioner. The bench, however, remarked that the state is unconscious of the directions issued by NALSA and had failed to provide a specific column meant for gender identity for transgender in the pro forma of application in the notification, and did not provide any reservation to transgender as they are socially and educationally backward and not in a position to compete with ordinary men and women. Observing that concept of proportional equality expects the state to take affirmative action in favor of disadvantaged sections of the society within the legal framework of liberal democracy. The bench stated that the petitioner, being a transgender, was entitled for promotional equality as the state is expected to take affirmative action in favor of disadvantaged section of the society. And the transgenders are cursed by everyone living in distressed condition and are being put to harassment in different ways, both physically, mentally and sexually by different persons. In another interesting case, the Kerala High Court held that not taking treatment for mental illness in order to bring out a peaceful and harmonious family atmosphere can also be counted as cruelty to the persons at the receiving end. Upholding the family court's order granting divorce on the ground of cruelty, the bench remarked that there is no merit in preserving intact a marriage when the marital tie becomes injurious to the parties. When there is no rose and only thorns left, and there is no scope for the plant to sprout again, there is no meaning in watering the same, knowing that it is dead forever. In a case exposing callous attitude of the authorities while dealing with drug menace in the state of Punjab, the Punjab and Haryana High Court observed that in some paras of the status reports, the police officers concerned had mentioned the tablets allegedly recovered as Clavital 100 SR, whereas in certain other paras the same had been described as Clovidol 100 SR. Criticizing the callous attitude of the officers, the bench remarked that the said discrepancy reflects nothing else but their callously casual approach towards their official duty, which is least expected from them because they are duty bound to check the crime graph in the state, especially in circumstances when the drug menace has become deep-rooted and is taking its toll to slow poison for the young generation upon which every nation pins hopes for a bright and secure future. Explaining the significance of a trademark, Justice Asha Menon observed that when people are satisfied with the products supplied by a manufacturer or service provider, they buy them on the basis of the trademark, and over time it becomes popular and well known. Thus, the use of similar or identical trademark by a competitor in the same product would lead unwary customers to believe that it originates from the same source. In the trademark dispute, wherein the use of trademark Bazi was held to be dishonest, the court expressed that to sum up, no reason for such adoption of the same word Bazi has been offered by defendants except to claim that Bazi is a descriptive word. After all, the trademark of the defendant is Windsor. Where was the need to borrow the word used by the plaintiff along with its registered trademark if it was not for benefiting from the goodwill of the plaintiff's trademark?
New feature in SCC Online Web Edition. A new topic has been introduced under curated topics, that is labor and employment. The topic has been further divided into 3 sub-areas, that is human resources, minimum wages across all Indian states, and social security. Hope you will find this new feature useful.
Now coming to the new releases by Eastern Book Company. Disciplinary Proceedings in Industry by J.K. Verma. This book covers every aspect of the disciplinary proceedings in industries, starting from its initiation by the authorities to conclusion by the appellate revisional order or judicial review by courts, as the case may be. That's all from this week. We'll be back with another episode. Till then, stay tuned to the SCC Online for the best analytical legal news. Thank you.